Welcome to Staying Healthy While Breaking Up with Hormonal Birth Control. In this program, we're going to talk through really kind of some of the major pitfalls that might present when you break up with hormonal birth control. And this program is for you, whether you've recently broken up with hormonal birth control, whether it's been a while since you broke up with hormonal birth control, or whether you're just considering it. I know for me, this was a huge decision. I had a 25 plus year relationship with hormonal birth control. I went on it at probably 15, 16 for acne, and I'd had a couple of breakups with it. The longest one probably about 6 months prior to my most recent breakup with hormonal birth control at the age of 39. And once I broke up with it that time, that's it. There's no going back. And so that last breakup was not an easy breakup. There was a lot of backlash. And this program is really a culmination of the things I wish I knew before that. It's things that I've heard other women say they wish they knew. So you get all of this in this single program. The decision to break up with hormonal birth control, it is a big one. It's huge. It's not easy. At some level, you are giving up so much control. You're kind of handing the reins back over to nature, letting nature decide when you're bleeding and when you're not. It's dealing with all of this stuff that comes with a period. And I know for me, I feel like this was really the single biggest factor for not wanting to break up with hormonal birth control and with staying in this relationship for so long. It was because I didn't have a healthy relationship with my period, even from when I first started Menarche. So for me, my very first period came the summer after fourth grade. I was 11 at the time. I just turned 11. I was not prepared for it. It was not a conversation my mom had had with me. I was at my grandmother's house, and when it started, and she had to deal with it. And for me, those first few years of dealing with a period, it was always, I had no idea when it was coming. It was always very messy. And I remember dealing with painful cramping when it would come. So I just didn't have a healthy relationship with it. And, I was watching my mom who struggled with her own period and struggled with a lot of pain herself and my mom ultimately wound up having a hysterectomy when I was still in my teens. So just to kind of give you a sense of my personal story, and also the reason for sharing it here is because it may resonate with you. I think here in the West, so many of us don't have a healthy relationship with our period. And oftentimes, when we're prescribed hormonal birth control, we get this sense of being able to control and being in control. And I know for me, at least, that played largely into the reason why I stayed on hormonal birth control for so long. This course is for you if you're worried about having to deal with a period again, like a real period again, and all of the muss and all of the fuss that's involved with that. This course is for you if you're worried about whether your fertility will return and how it will return and how quickly you'll get it back. It's for you if you're concerned about how you're going to avoid unplanned pregnancy when stopping hormonal birth control. And it's for you if you're worried about a backlash of symptoms when you break up with these synthetic hormones. It's also for you if you're worried about brand new symptoms or worried about being blindsided with something that you haven't even considered. I've been there. as I shared just briefly, I had a long time history and a long time relationship with oral contraceptive pills, specifically combined oral contraceptives. I considered myself somewhat of a birth control connoisseur for years and years, and I've broken up with birth control now 3 times over my reproductive life, and the first 2 times were quite easy. The third time, I was expecting it to be just as easy as those first 2 times, and it was not. I was blindsided. I developed my first ever UTI immediately, and we're talking within 2 weeks of discontinuing hormonal contraception, and that UTI wound up becoming recurrent, approaching where doctors were talking about I might have interstitial cystitis, which is no good. So we're definitely going to talk about recurrent UTIs and use of hormonal contraception. We're also going to talk about other kind of more common, probably, things like breast tenderness, recurrence of PCOS, recurrence of endometriosis, and how to deal with those things. I'm going to be your guide throughout this course. My sincerest hope is that what you find here makes your transition off hormonal birth control easy.